Yes, we're recording. Hey, this is David Olanipekun. I'm the host and creator of Let's Talk Creatives, set up to engage with creative individuals throughout the world. And our special guest today is Johnson Eziefula. You're a hyperrealist and conceptual artist. Okay. Yes. Yeah, if you'd like to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right then, I'm Johnson Eziefula, as previously said, and I'm a Nigerian-based visual artist, a contemporary artist, so to say. And I hail from Imo State in Nigeria, the southeastern part of Nigeria. And I'm a contemporary artist.
Yeah, I was going through your Instagram posts, and I read on one of your comments, fear has been a great aid to you. So if you'd like to explain that, it's under one of your pieces on your Instagram page.
Okay. Okay, so it's it's the way I kind of see it. You know, for me, while in school before this whole thing started, I'm actually a pharmacist in training in medical school. So the way things are there, it's usually very tight and difficult. So we usually don't get to have enough time to study and practice before we get to have tests and in courses. So fear has always been one factor, one motivating factor that has always helped with doing things that might not seem possible normally. So I don't like to see it as something that is really detrimental. It's something like it's how do I put it? It's more like something that keeps you on check. It's something that makes you do what you're supposed to do. It's more like something that gives you an insight of what will happen if you don't do something this particular way. So it's more like it's kind of like useful. You get if if you don't study and you're in school, you know, you're not far from failure. So that fear is what will like inspire you and push you to like, do what you need to do. So it's more like a friend rather than, you know, even in hyperrealism that I currently do, it's it comes naturally to me actually. But upstairs in my head, I usually don't want to have that outcome and I'm like, man, I didn't do this right. You get so that fear of not achieving what you want to. It's more like what keeps you going. It's more like what pushes you, rather than being so detrimental or bad in that sense. So that's like the angle of which I was explaining that statement.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think fear can be used as a great tool,
Yeah,
to definitely, as you said, like to keep you on check, to keep you on point.
yeah,
Um, and I appreciate that because a lot of people, fear stops them
yeah,
from moving. And in your case, fear is a motivator to
yeah,
level up,
yeah.
really, to push yourself to the next level. So, yeah, I
Feedback.
appreciate that. Hmm. So, what you going to say?
I say it's more like a feedback system. It's a regulator, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I would like to encourage people to like make the best out of it. It's something that could be really used well when you know put in the right place. So rather than let it push you backwards, put it at the back and let it propel you. That kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Are you a fan of Marvel movies?
Of
Marvel films? Are you a fan of Marvel films?
yeah.
Have you seen Iron Man 1?
I think I have, but that was a long time ago. So
Okay,
maybe
basically the point I'm trying to make, there's a scene in Iron Man 1 where he's trapped in the cave with the terrorists, and they force him to build a weapon for them, but he uses that week to build the Iron Man suit Mark 1. So in a way, this situation with the lockdown is a good opportunity for people to develop their Iron Man suit Mark 1 or Like, you know what I mean? They're more like, or like just level, like just bring up that, just build that product to like, you know, just it's a good opportunity to level up.
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity to level up. So I'm trying to level up. I'm trying to build my team with this media platform. I set up this podcast. I'm trying to improve this podcast as well. I'm trying to do many different things to just improve myself and level up. And I promised myself, okay, let me set up a podcast. Let me engage with the art scene in Africa as well. So that was a promise I made to myself as well. And there's lots more things I'm trying to, you know, I'm promising myself, and I'm just looking at ways to execute it. So I think this period is just, there's no excuse for saying I can't do this, I can't do that. You know, if you're fearful, use the fear, man. Use the fear, but just don't stop. Take action. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Yeah, but yeah, your work is your work. You know, you're a serious artist, man. You know, you work hard with your pieces, and I discovered you. I discovered your work through Instagram, and I've watched your work develop and get better and better and better. So I've watched your journey. You know. What influences who? What influences you, like as a creative, you know, as a creative individual?
All right. So there are a number of things that make me create art. There's so many factors that make me create art. Sometimes it's love. Sometimes it's the state of things in my environment. Sometimes it's anger. Sometimes it's frustration. Sometimes it's a desire for things to get better. To get so there are loads of reasons why I create. There are loads of factors that make me create. And you know, coming from Africa, coming from this part of the world, there's a lot of things that kind of like encounter. There's a lot of things you experience. So there's enough reason for you to want to, speak out and voice out, act in the use of art. Art is an amazing platform. It's an amazing, vehicle to convey messages. It's it's one language that everyone understands. You get so it's also a very potent means of self-expression. So that's basically what makes me create. It makes me make art. It's a lot of things. Although sometimes it's basically just for the sake of making art, for the love of the art. So sometimes you just want to create and basically I make the kind of art I would love to see. So sometimes it's just me creating the kind of art that I want to see. You get? I'm also a fan
Mm.
of my art, so
Yeah,
that's basically what it is. So, but
yeah,
typically it's a subtle form of activism. For me, I've always been the kind of person who likes to, when I call it rant, I I don't overlook things easily. So when there's something I feel isn't right or isn't the way it's meant to be, or something is quite overlooked, I try to press on it and address it and highlight it to people. That's physically. But now when I discovered art as a means of doing that as well, and it's something that could really travel out very far. You get so
yeah, yeah,
part of what made me take this art so seriously. Previously it was more like I felt art was just like making pretty pictures as a young person. But with time, as I got to discover what art was all about, I kind of like decided to make good use of it to speak and make impact in society at large, and create a form of self-consciousness for people and self-awareness, self and for people generally. Because artists, as much as it's educative to the listener or the audience, the recipient, is also educative to the creator. It's a learning process as well. While you create, conversations that are started, get to learn at the same time. So art basically what makes me make art. You know, it's kind of like spontaneous, it's natural too. I can't just stay without, you know, either drawing on my books or in class. It has always been that way, and it's something that has always gotten me into trouble. The class notes when you're meant to like submit your notes for assessment, and you
Yeah.
mess them up with doodles and sketches at the back of the note and all of that. So it's basically natural. It's something I'm in love with.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely organic talent you have. How long have you been? How long have you been drawing and sketching? Do you remember?
I think I started since I was in primary school. I think primary four or primary five, and I was
Okay,
about 8 to 9 years old then.
I see. Okay.
I never really knew I was capable of doing that until a class. I think a form of classwork where our teacher was like, we should recreate a particular diagram in one of our textbooks. So I did so like every other student and every other pupil and in my class, and everybody started shouting and like, wow, it's too it was too sophisticated for my stage.
Yeah, yeah.
Relative to my classmates. So that was how the whole thing started. And I think I was marked 10/10. And I was quite excited. I went home, showed my mom, and that was how we discovered that okay, I could actually draw. And then from there are these comic books I used to read when I was small, Super Strikers. It was about the football team and stuff. So I started drawing. And as at that time, my eldest brother was also into the arts, not professionally, but he used to draw and paint for school then. He was in the same class with Ken.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So they were the ones who were, drawing and doing stuff. Ken's elder brother too used to draw. As Ike, he's currently a doctor now. Ken has been a long time family friend. He used to come to our house, on weekends and stuff. So that was when I developed the interest in drawing. I was always following up with my other brother when he was making his, comic characters. From there, I started making comics. That was it. And when I got into secondary school, kind of like the whole interest and time I put into it diminished because of school, academic work, and all of that. I had to be serious with school and stuff. But it was rekindled like after I finished secondary school while I was at home for a year. That was basically how it started. But my earliest memory of drawing was in primary school. I think primary four, primary five, about 8 or 9 years. When I was about 8 or 9 years.
Okay. Okay. So the most recent piece I spotted on your Instagram page, it's portrait, but it has the ribbon around the portrait. So what's the idea behind this?
All right. So my practice, my practice is particularly, you know, focused on cultural hybridity. Cultural hybridity in the sense of cultural appropriation into from one culture to another contemporary time. It's something that is quite established at the moment due to several factors like migration, you know, in such post-colonial era, and where we have a lot of technological advancements, social media and stuff. So there's a lot of influence coming from other cultures through this means. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, for me, who is by geographical origin, I'm from the southeastern part of Nigeria, but I'm currently in the west in Lagos State. That's where I was born. That's where I've grown all my life. So there's been a lot of cultural appropriation from other people. You know, Lagos is a very populated space, so you get to meet a lot of people. You get to share a lot of ideologies and get to partake in a lot of arguments and discussions. So there's a lot of you know cultural appropriation and hybridization that occurs, particular to individuals in such time. So that work in particular still talks about cultural hybridization. That's the basis of my current series, Entirety Interrupted. So I try to, highlight something that we're not really aware of. The Ankara I used to, pass through her face. Generally, Ankara is believed to be African. Am I right? Anybody who you mention it to or you show, they feel it has this African. Uh, you would recognize it to be African naturally if you're from Africa. So, but the truth about it is, its origin isn't originally African. It has some European origin from, I think the Dutch.
Yeah.
They're producing it there and they started selling it to, the Indonesian markets. And there were some issues with reception. So they brought it down to Africa and it was now really welcomed and received here in West Africa. So naturally now we see it as ours. We see it as something African. So it's one myth we believe. That goes to tell us that as much as we hold on to our cultures in such present day, as much as we try to, there's this sentiment attached to, cultures, this categorization. I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba, I'm this and that. But one of the elements of our culture is actually not ours. I think it's something that when someone who is unaware of it gets to know, it feels very stupid. It's one myth that we've been holding on to for so long. Do you get it? So I try to you put it up in your face. Okay, this is my subject is a typical Yoruba girl, a typical African girl, and the material is cut across her face. It's interrupting her totality. Do you get? I try to express that hybridization in a physical form, but my statement is in psychologically, like in our heads, in our nature, in our social behavior. But I try to express it and depict it, physically, so you can get to ask why. You can get to try to understand what I'm trying to depict, what I'm trying to say. So you get to understand that this is actually an element from a different part of the world, from a different culture, from a different origin that is now being incorporated into a typical West African person and is totally accepted. Hence, a cultural hybrid. That's what I depicted the image. But I depicted the hybrid as a physical hybrid, as you don't get to see people with a clothes attached to their skin. It's not possible. It's an imaginative form of expression. It's figurative, but that was basically the essence of that piece.
Yeah, it's interesting. You brought up the origin of the cloth originating back to Dutch. So yeah, it was interesting when I appreciate you mentioning that actually, because I remember when I was reading up and I was watching documentaries on the patterns and learning about this information. It makes you think it's important to question the origin of everything, really. There's a lot of things that, as you mentioned before, we take in as our, quote unquote culture or whatever. But it's good to question the origins. It's good to question where certain things come from, So I appreciate you mentioning this. Yes. So how has this how has this current situation with the lockdown affected you in terms of your art or creativity?
All right. It has affected me in two ways. If I'm going to be frank. The aspect of, there's a lot of room, there's a lot of time to work, there's a lot of time to think, there's a lot of time to reflect, there's a lot of time to study and research. But at the same time, there's a lot of restrictions in terms of, the whole work process. Typically, before I make my works, I always have, photo sessions where I, generate my reference image I work with. So due to this lockdown and due to this, pandemic, it's quite difficult. It's been quite difficult for me to, get my references, and I need those references to work. You get for every photo session I have, I creatively direct them and get what I need, what I have upstairs. Well, due to this lockdown, I can't get people to come out of their homes. So, to definitely lead to a gathering, which shouldn't be. So that has been the bad part. But the good part of it is, it has given a lot of, it has been a big reminder to a lot of things. How, you should focus on your health, how essential our health is, how essential family is. So it has helped my creative process in, like, creating more room and time for study, and understanding my artistic process, understanding my interest in art generally. But it has also had its negative impact. But it's all good. Still working.
How about art materials? What about art materials? Some artists said like it's quite tough to get certain materials to their work. So has that affected you getting materials?
Yeah, I'm currently running low on materials,
Okay.
but I'm hoping that there would be a way, because there's always a way regardless.
Yeah.
So hoping I would sort something out. Probably there are some online platforms, like people who do deliveries for art materials. Although they're new, so I'll probably patronize them. But it's one of those issues we're facing currently. It's all good.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. And have you been in contact with other artists on social media?
Definitely. Talk all the time. Friends, yeah.
Well, all over the world or just Africa?
Mostly Africa, Nigeria, to say, like my real friends, the ones that we've been in this journey
Oh
with.
yeah, okay, yeah.
You get Instagram is an amazing platform. You get to network and meet new people, and you get to talk. But basically, it's my friends right here, right now in Nigeria.
Okay, cool. And have you like exhibited outside of Nigeria?
The thing is, I just started practicing art publicly late last
Yeah,
year.
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, in October. That was like when I came back and started putting out stuff. But I was meant to have an exhibition in the UK there, but before this whole pandemic broke out, so it has kind of like slowed things down. But once the pandemic is gone, hopefully things would get back to normal, and I'll have my shows.
Okay. And have you been getting advice from your fellow artists?
What did you say?
Have you been getting any advice from your fellow artists that have already exhibited in the UK?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's more particular to the brands you work with and all of that. I wouldn't want to talk much about that.
No problem. Okay, cool. So for anyone watching, perhaps that are struggling, maybe there's an artist out there and they're struggling a little bit. What advice or what words of wisdom would you share with them?
I would like to let them know that they shouldn't stop, and if they've not started, they should just start. It's all about making an effort. It's all about doing something. One thing leads to another. When you start, there's every reason for you to want to, continue. There's every reason for you to want to, progress to the next stage. There's so much more boundary when you don't even, start at all. So I would advise every one of them to, try. We've all been in that situation. There was always a start. Like I said, I started practicing publicly late last year. But the truth is, I've been in the scene since 2017, but I've been silent, due to several circumstances and stuff, school and all of that. But I didn't quit. I didn't stop. So I'd like to advise every one of them to, keep working and be deliberate about every action they make towards their art. And, what they talk about, what they speak about, it should be very true. That's like that's like the basic essence of art. It's beyond how beautiful it looks or how appealing it is to the eyes, or how mind blowing or how the audience will receive it. It's more about expressing yourself truthfully and very honestly through your art. So just do so. Just do so. There's no reason to hold it back. There's no reason to let a part of yourself out It makes the world a better place. So just do you, just make art.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's great advice for anyone listening. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So for anyone, Johnson, that wants to find your work, that want to learn more about you, where should they go? You know, in terms of social media.
My Instagram, my Instagram. I'm currently working on my website though. I don't really have enough works. I don't really have so much works yet. So it's kind of like what's holding me back from setting up my website, because it would be kind of awkward to reach my space on the internet and you only see very few works. So I'm still like waiting till I have a number of works before I now
Yeah,
set it up
yeah.
totally. But right now my Instagram is very active. If there's any question that anyone would like to ask me, I'm always available to respond. So my Instagram is it. I'm not much of a Facebook or Twitter person, but my Instagram is always
No, that's
available.
cool. That's cool. That's cool. And so you're talk. You're featured in a newspaper. What was it? Is it Future in This Day newspaper? There's a link on your Twitter account.
Oh, this day is
Yeah, this day. Yeah, this day. Yeah,
a Nigerian brand.
yeah, yeah. This day newspaper. Corrected. That's done. Corrected. Yeah. So how did that come to be?
You know, from people kind of like reposting your work and resharing. The editor in chief got to like see my work and he was really impressed, and he has been writing articles on art for a long time, so he felt he should reach out to me and set something up. So that was how it happened.
Oh, that's good. No, congratulations. So did anything come out of that? So did anyone reach out to you as a result of seeing your
um
work in the article?
they didn't attach my media pages to the article because it wasn't a paid um, feature. You understand? So it's something they did on their own. So having my media handles and the platform on that article would have been kind of like publicity, which wasn't the essence of that interview. So
Hmm.
my media handles weren't attached, so there was no way people could easily reach out to me. So
Okay.
it didn't really bring so much, buzz with regards to people getting to me to ask questions and reach out.
Okay. Cool.
That's the essence, though.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, Johnson, is there anything you'd like to share? Anything you'd like to mention?
With regards to
No, just anything in general. Is there anything like anything you like to share or like let people know about you?
about myself,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um, is there anything much to say? Um, I'm human, basically.
I put you on the spot. To be fair, I did put you on the spot there. So no, no. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm an artist, and I
yeah.
like to speak. I like to, you know, share my views and my thoughts, my standpoints on several subject matters through my art. And it's a really amazing field of practice. I would, I really want to make a change with regards to the art scene and how people, see artists. You know, there's this there's this way people see artists. People don't really know much about how um, artists are or how the industry is. Like especially over here in Africa, in Nigeria in particular, people feel being an artist is probably having a small roadside shop where you get to paint and they don't get to make a good living out of art. But I really want people to be more open to it. I really want people to engage more with it, and I also really want youths and you know people generally in Nigeria, yeah, to engage more with art. There's this there's this repulsive nature they have towards the arts. It's nothing compared to music. Everybody loves music. Everybody, people know. If you ask a random person, mention 5 artists in Nigeria, and they look at you like artists. Probably start to mention Whiskey and Davido because
Yeah.
that's the kind of art they're talking about. They don't
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
have no idea what's going on. They don't really care. So I really want to, put it out there. I really want to, you know, make people see a reason to become artists. I
Yeah.
want people to see a reason to engage with the art. I want people to understand the essence of art in our society and the purpose that we stand to have as artists. So
Mm.
that's basically me. I'm a quite simple person. So
Yeah. I appreciate, you know what? I appreciate you bringing that up because all the Nigerian artists I've interviewed, I always ask them the same question. And, you've answered this question already in a way. And the question is, what's the art scene like in Nigeria?
the art scene
And
in Nigeria it's really growing. But the thing is, it's
yeah,
quite invisible. People, regular people who don't have any, you know, affiliation or anything to do with the arts don't know what is going on in the art scene. And I think it's sad because there's so many, amazing young talents. There are several. We are a lot.
yeah,
We are a lot. If you really, you know, I don't know how possible it is, but if you can really, take a look into the the Nigerian creative space,
yeah,
you would discover there are a whole lot of young creatives out here in Nigeria. The 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 system over here, the state of things over here is enough to spark a lot of creativity. There are a lot of problems, there are a lot of issues. So you get to work. There are people who always find a way to do stuff. So there's a lot of things happening over
yeah,
here. But
mm,
it's quite invisible. People don't get people don't get to know about art. There are few shows you could get to watch on the TV that are about art. You know, there are few channels that are typically dedicated to the African art. So it's not so out there, and it's something I think we should work on. And I'm really trying my best to do so. Last year I organized an event in Surulere. It was a musical concert and an art exhibition, but I tried to use the music as a bridge. I tried to use it as a tool, you know, to pull people towards the art.
yeah,
People didn't really get it. It was something I did without letting everyone know. They felt okay. He's just doing the two together, but I needed to make use of that music. If I had just done an art exhibition, people wouldn't come. People because they don't really care. They don't want
yeah,
to know. They feel we are some sort of mad people. So they feel it's a boring
yeah, yeah. I
line.
get it. Yeah,
I try
yeah,
to, like present it in a way that is really youth friendly.
yeah,
I use the music. I tried my best to bring some key acts that people are quite interested in, and then that made people come out to see art, and I was really impressed. These are like young people from 17 to 25 in medical school there. So I was really really impressed to see people come out to, and the artists were amazing. They brought their works. They came to participate, and it wasn't a platform where they could get to sell, but they understood the purpose, they understood the vision, being that we just get to show our art to people who don't really know much about art. These young
yeah,
people
yeah.
don't really know much, and get them to like engage with the arts. And who
Yeah,
knows, that might be the start of something different. That might be the start of something new. People might get
definitely.
inspired and even engaged with the art as a practice, while some just get to know more about the art scene and the Nigerian visual arts. And I think it's really key. I think it's something that I really want to see. You know, I really want to see the Nigerian art scene being as big as the music. The music scene is crazy. Like
It's
there's a
insane.
of
It's insane. It's
like
insane.
and it's worldwide.
Insane.
It's not no longer just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that.
Everybody, everyone around the world knows like the
So
music scene in Nigeria.
I really want to see the Nigerian artists being that big. You know, not
Yeah.
financially wise. That's not like the purpose. Like, but like, you know, with regards to impact, with regards to influence, with regards to value, you know, it's one thing to make works, and that's why I'm quite particular about exhibitions. I would rather have an exhibition than get my work sold so quickly. You know, I could get DMs of people saying they want to buy my work, and I'll be like, I think I have it set for an exhibition. I prefer it being, you know, put out there for people to engage with it, for people to, you know, communicate and consume those works. It's very key. It's not just about the money. And people don't even know there's kind of like money in art. People don't know that people you could actually live by just being a full-time artist. And I really want people to see this. I really want people to understand that, you know, the art is amazing and it's something that is here to stay and here to stay forever. And, you know, I'm really trying my best to keep up and, you know, apart from just creating, also do some, you know, social uh, form of activities that would, you know, highlight artists and all of that. So that's the basic.
Yeah, well, me personally, I'm super excited, and I am on a mission to engage with African artists. I've been interviewing quite a few Nigerian artists because I really want to push that cultural perception, like the shift of the cultural perception in terms of the art scene within the African diaspora. And I know there's a lot of talent in Nigeria. So I've made it a point to engage with you guys, you know what I mean? So I'm doing my part. You know, I set up this podcast. You know, I've got a list of Nigerian I've interviewed quite a few. You know, I've interviewed Ken like 3 times, I think. But yeah, I'm making it. I want to highlight the sick talent that's in Nigeria, though. You know what I mean? Nigeria's been making sick art from day one. You know, there's artifacts that are like dating back 800 years old in the British Museum. You know what
It's
I'm saying?
natural. It's very
From
natural.
like, you know, so the art, so it's not nothing new. It's not new. That's one key point I want to drive home. All the sick creativity I'm seeing now it's not new. It's always been there. It's always been there, and it's a part of the lineage. It's a part of the lineage. It's because, you know, I'm seeing artifacts. You know, I post artifacts on my Instagram page, you know, of royalty, you know, in West Africa.
Yeah.
But the world appreciates it. But we have to appreciate ourselves, like the diaspora. They have to. I think that's the key problem. To be totally honest, you know, it's you got people that are investing in the art, you know, from all over the world. But as you said before, you know, the average person, they're not really interested. But at the same time, it opens up a door, you know, to a massive opportunity. Okay, there's a gap in the market then. You know, so does that mean like you know, you have to create an event that incorporates music, film, cinema, and art and combine the whole lot together? You know, so it's definitely growing, you know, from what I've been hearing, from talking to everyone, you know, in Nigeria and West Africa. It's definitely growing. And you know, I'm just excited to see what comes in the future ahead. So yeah. But definitely, like, you know, like keep up the dope work, man. Like your work is sick, bro. Like just keep up the, you know, dope work. And like, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of your work, obviously. And yeah, take care, stay safe, stay blessed, and again for the people watching, like if you could share your Instagram page again.
At Jeff_Jakes_.
Oh, great. So yeah, Johnson, thanks again for your time, bro. Thanks for taking this Skype call with me, bro. I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate your time. Yeah, take care, stay safe, and I'll send you a link to this video when it's edited and all that. Yeah. So.
All right, then.
All right, take care, bro. Have a good day. Yeah, have a good day. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, take care. All right, safe.